How childhood shapes your entire personality. Childhood is not just a phase that comes and goes. It is the foundation on which the entire structure of a person's personality is built. When people grow older, they often assume that their habits, emotions, strengths, and weaknesses developed only in adulthood. However, psychologists, sociologists, and even neuroscientists agree that the earliest years of life shape the deepest layers of who a person becomes. Childhood experiences create the emotional patterns that people carry, the beliefs they rely on, the fears they try to hide, and the strengths they proudly show. Understanding how childhood molds personality helps us understand why people behave the way they do and why certain reactions feel automatic, natural, or uncontrollable. Childhood is powerful because during that period the brain is extremely sensitive to the environment, and children depend entirely on adults for love, protection, and guidance. In early childhood, a child learns whether the world is safe or dangerous. A child who receives consistent love, comfort, and attention grows up believing that people are trustworthy and relationships are stable. This forms what psychologists call a secure attachment. Such children usually grow into adults who can communicate openly, manage stress better, and remain confident when facing problems. On the other hand, a child who experiences neglect, unpredictable behavior from parents, harsh discipline, or emotional distance may develop insecure attachment patterns. These patterns can lead to constant fear of abandonment, difficulty trusting others, emotional overreaction, or shutting down whenever problems appear. Even though these responses appear in adulthood, their root lies in childhood. Childhood also shapes personality through the messages children repeatedly hear. If a child is encouraged, praised, and supported, they develop a belief that they are capable and valuable. If a child is constantly criticized, compared, or made to feel like a burden, they may grow into adults who doubt themselves and fear failure. Many perfectionists, people pleasers, or those who are overly self-critical learn these habits as children because they believed love had to be earned through performance. In contrast, children who receive unconditional acceptance learn to take risks, explore new ideas, and feel confident even when they make mistakes. This difference in emotional climate becomes a major force in shaping personality. Another major influence on personality is how conflict and emotions are handled in childhood. If a child grows up in a home where parents express emotions calmly, solve disagreements peacefully, and communicate respectfully, the child learns healthy emotional regulation. They feel safe expressing their feelings and grow into adults who can manage anger, sadness, and stress in stable and mature ways. But in homes full of shouting, violence, emotional silence, or unpredictable reactions, the child learns fear, avoidance, or aggression as coping mechanisms. A child who learns to suppress emotions often becomes an adult who struggles to communicate or feels emotionally numb. A child who sees anger as the only way to gain attention may grow into an adult who becomes easily frustrated or aggressive, not because they are bad, but because it was their earliest lesson in communication. Childhood also shapes personality by determining how a child views themselves in the world. The opportunities a child receives, such as education, freedom to explore, or encouragement to try new skills, greatly affect their confidence and curiosity. A child who is allowed to express themselves and make small decisions learns independence and self-control. A child who is over-controlled, constantly punished, or discouraged from exploring may grow up fearful, dependent, or hesitant to try new things. The difference becomes visible in adulthood, one person becomes bold and curious, while another remains anxious and unsure. Even temperament, which has a biological basis, becomes shaped by environment. A naturally shy child who receives gentle support can become socially confident, while a naturally outgoing child who faces constant criticism can become withdrawn. Childhood trauma, even when not recognized, can have lifelong effects. Exposure to violence, emotional abuse, bullying, parental conflict, or major loss can lead to deep emotional scars. These experiences influence personality by creating protective behaviors such as avoidance, perfectionism, excessive independence, or emotional detachment. Many adults do not realize that their need to control everything or their inability to trust anyone began as survival strategies in childhood. The brain adapts to painful situations by forming patterns that help the child cope, but those patterns continue into adulthood even when they are no longer needed. This is why healing often requires revisiting childhood, understanding past experiences, and building new emotional habits. Cultural and family expectations also shape personality during childhood. Some children grow up in environments where obedience and discipline are emphasized, and they learn to prioritize duty, respect, and social rules. Others grow up in more expressive households and learn creativity, independence, and open communication. Neither style is absolutely right or wrong, but both create different personality outcomes. A child raised in a highly disciplined environment may develop strong self-control but may struggle with expressing emotions. A child raised in a very expressive environment may develop creativity but may find it difficult to follow strict structure. These tendencies continue into adulthood and influence careers, relationships, and decision-making. Even the relationships between siblings influence a child's personality. Older siblings often become responsible, organized, or protective because they naturally take leadership roles. Middle children may become mediators who learn negotiation skills. Younger children often become more social or dependent because they receive more attention and guidance. Only children may become more mature or independent because they spend more time with adults. These dynamics are early forms of social training that shape how a person interacts with the world. In the end, childhood shapes personality because it sets the earliest blueprint for how to understand oneself, how to treat others, and how to survive challenges. However, it is important to remember that personality is not fixed forever. People can heal, learn, change, and grow at any age. Understanding childhood is not about blaming the past but about recognizing the roots of current behaviors. When people understand where their reactions come from, they gain the power to reshape their future. If you found this explanation helpful and want more content like this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more informative and thought-provoking discussions.